What up, guys? So today we're going to do a video on what the fake reap is. This question comes from Lars Lornoth-Flocky, and there's some numbers that I don't know if maybe I should have pronounced that differently, but that's what it looks like to me. He asks Chewy, he says, Chewy, can you do a technique video breakdown, breaking down the fake reap versus an actual reap in that position? I'm not fully understanding how reaping would be a DQ versus a fake reap. I train at a jiu-jitsu gym that primarily focuses on grappling for MMA, and so he shares a little bit else, but otherwise looking for the idea on what a fake reap is versus a real thing. Lars Lornoth-Flocky, whatever that is, thank you for your question. And I got old Marvin here, and we're gonna take a look at this. So let's talk about what the reap is, and let's talk about what the whole fake reap nonsense is, and how stupid it is. So come here real quick. I get angry about this because I hate the position. I've had a couple of my students lose to a fake reap where the guy does this. It drives me bananas. I'll even share it on a side tangent for any of you guys that like, you know, to hear about the old days of jiu-jitsu, like 24 years ago kind of thing or whatever. I'll share what used to be, to me, was like the equivalent of the reap back in like the early mid 2000s, and how I got DQ'd several times for something that was so stupid. Anyway, we'll talk more about that in a second. So let's talk about the reap. What is the reap first off, right? Because a lot of white belts, they come into it and they're like, what is a reap? The reap is where basically, let's say that we're in a leg attacking position. Okay, and we're in some sort of straight ankle lock type position or whatever. It's when the foot comes out over the hip, just like this. Now, notice what's happening. The foot is cutting across and it's causing his knee to cave inward, right? So the thought is that if I really crank on this, it is now exerting pressure on his knee that could potentially damage Marvin and hurt him. Now, I don't understand why this is such a big deal, because Marvin could always take his hand and just move the damn foot. Don't know why that's such a big deal. Like this, at least early on when I first started, there was no such thing as a reap. We never got called for it. I didn't know what it was until I was a purple belt. And then someone's like, a reap. I was like, what's a reap? And that was like 2007 or something. I don't know when this rule became a thing, but I didn't know about it. But anyway, foot here, cutting across. Now, reaping is completely legal in situations where heel hooks are legal. So if you're curious about when can you reap, typically if you go to a competition, if they say heel hooks are legal, you can reap. Because essentially you will use the reap to go in and begin to attack whatever your heel hook is, right? Let's say if Marvin was to, let's go and come up on top for me here. Maybe here, I get in, get this ankle lock here. Maybe I cut this leg across here, bang, you know, the idea, right? So that's the idea of what the reap is. And again, used in competitions, it's perfectly fine. So if you want to use it, if heel hooks are legal, you can reap it. Now, here is what the fake reaping is. So Marvin, go and put me a straight ankle lock position, foot on the outside. So Marvin's got me here, he's got here, his foot's on the outside here, okay? So let's turn towards old Jay here. Jay's my lovely cameraman. Now we're here, okay? So this position here, the fake reap is basically Marvin's foot's here, where it should be, and then I take the foot, push it over, and then I go, ah, ah. I start making whimpering faces, I go, ah, like make whatever faces or noises, whatever crap you want to do to catch the ref's attention, right? And then Marvin pulls away, like go away Marvin. Like Marvin just got DQ'd. I'm laying here doing this. And then the ref gets up and the ref like raises my hand. I'm like, ah! I hate that stuff. I saw that one of the tournaments. I saw a dude who gets DQ'd. He's like doing this. He's like hurt. Oh, my knee hurts so bad. And then the ref's right here in the middle. The ref raises his hand, and I mean just, I'm like, bro, you should be disgusted. Like it's the most biggest bunch of bullshit ever. You should be disgusted with yourself. So again, that's what the fake reap is. Let's do another one. Let's see. So here, Marvin puts me like, let's go like straight ankle here. And then, well, you just got DQ'd, Marvin. Marvin's been competing at too many Jiu-Jitsu Opens. We're pretty liberal on him. So from here, this one I've seen this one a bunch, where basically the foot's dangling and the person does this. Oh! And then again, point to the sky, thank Jesus that you just won the match. So that's what the fake reap is, where you're pushing the foot over to draw the DQ. One of my students was in a leg entanglement position. The guy did just that, right? Pushes the foot over and then fakes the DQ, fakes the injury. Oh, my knee hurts so bad. But then they
there was a video of it. He gets up and winks at his coach. I was like, oh, you dirty bastard. And then we were talking to another competitor, and he's like, he did that to me back at this tournament. I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand why you would do such a thing, right? Like, you think anybody, like, just to share this with you guys as I'm on my tangent, right? I've got plenty, I'm well caffeinated today. Like, do you think anybody's going to care about you if that's the way that you're going to win matches, right? Like, nobody, like, if someone's like, oh, this guy's a world champ, he's got this seminar coming up, let me go check out his matches on Flow. Why? He wins all these things by DQ. I don't want to go to that seminar. They want to go to someone who are, you know, maybe you want to get a sponsorship. Nobody wants to sponsor the guy that's drawing the DQs, right? So again, just a bad way to win, no integrity, no honor. So that's what the fake reap is, right? If you were curious. And obviously you probably get an idea of how I feel about it. Now that said, back in the day, I didn't know what a reap was. But what we did have was the thing called a neck crank. So back in like the early 2000s, the neck crank was the big deal. Everybody hated the neck crank because what happened was a bunch of like the wrestlers would come into my full, get it to a full guard on me. Big wrestlers would come in, guys like Jeff Monson and whatever, and if you watch some of the old MMA fights, you see like Mark Coleman, Mark Kerr, they would do it. And what they would do is they'd get in positions like a can opener here, and they would just pull, right? And I mean, you have these guys that are just juiced to the gills, and they're like pulling like this, and then the bottom guy would never open his guard, and they would just get tapped out because their necks are getting destroyed. And there was a few different other neck cranking positions that they would get into. So the neck cranks back in the day, oh my God, it was crazy. Like if you start pulling some guy's neck, people would get really upset. I was literally in a position once where the guy had me in a triangle here, like a loose triangle, and I'm getting out of it, and I pulled on his neck right here, like I was behind his neck, and I was turning the angle, and the ref called me for neck cranking, right? Now this guy was American, he gets up, he's like, no. He's like, he wasn't cranking my neck. He's like, let him compete, let him go. And then our ref was just like not hearing it and then just DQ'd me. I was like, what? It wasn't a neck crank. And then there was another time where, real quick, similar situation, come here, on your back here, like had the guy, and I had the lapel, and I'm really yanking here as I'm passing. And the dude was like kind of whimpering about it. You know, he's just grunting. And the ref called it as a neck crank, right? Because I started pulling his head up as I'm like passing here to the side, and I was really yanking up. Ref calls me for a neck crank. And then afterwards, this guy, he kind of milks it. He's like, doing this. And then he goes on to like, he has like 3 more matches and he looks fine. So again, I hate the DQ stuff. I hate when people just, when they draw them like that, but that's what it is, right? So just be careful. So if you're competing in a competition where reaps are not allowed, make sure that you're very mindful of your foot positioning, and you better be locked tight. And if that dude starts pushing that foot over, you better start moving it. Don't just leave it there. Because again, the refs in some of the big tournaments, they're supposed to DQ the person if they draw the DQ. But it's like a 50-50, you don't know, right? I saw a couple guys at I saw people at the Nogi Worlds recently. I saw people get DQ'd for trying to DQ the other person. And then I saw them get the DQ win. So either way, it sucks. And then again, just I thought it was funny because back in the day, like we didn't have the reap. But like I remember as a wrestler coming into jiu-jitsu, like I thought it was kind of soft. Like we can't just pull on people's necks. Like in a lot of cases, we weren't neck cranking, but they would be really quick to call neck cranks in situations just because a lot of the wrestlers were in like the ADCCs using can openers and stuff. And there's a famous, if you guys want to look it up, it's actually around. There's a famous match with Jeff Monson. I was actually there for it. Jeff Monson and Petapano, this is like an ADCC championship level match in the middle of Columbus, Ohio at a competition. Jeff Monson puts Petapano in a neck crank, and Petapano just like, you know, I think he taps out or he squeals, and there's a whole hubbub about it. But anyway, like fight erupts. I think Jeff Monson tackled a ref. Seneca punched Jeff Monson, I think. It was just a big mess, hilarious story, but it was over the neck crank, right? It was like it was some big deal. And so anyway, I'm done rambling about it, but for Lars Lothnaki, whatever your damn name was, that is what the fake reap is. And hopefully you guys got something from this video. So I'll talk to you guys next time.